Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Empowering Empathy. I got Mr. Brian Markham over here. I'm Mike.
Hello, hello.
Hello. How's it going, Brian?
I'm doing well, Mr. Walker. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah,
Before I ask you any more questions, I got to remind everybody why we're here, which is this is the episode, or should I say, the podcast where we talk about personal growth, the power of compassion, and professional success. And we've been talking a lot about game changers. So today we wanted to kind of get into some personal game changers. And one of those that you had mentioned to me is the power of the F word, the
yes,
magical F word. So
yes.
we're gonna talk about that today.
That's right. That's right. And it's not the F word that our mind immediately goes to, but it is a little bit different. Before we start, I wanted to kind of share with you kind of game changers, the whole idea of game changers. I have a little philosophy in life around these moments in your life that your life does change a little bit. And so, as a faith-based guy, I've been asked several times, why does God let bad things happen to good people? And for me personally, when that happens, we can only see life at this micro level of things, and I believe that the universe is way bigger than us. So when we lose a loved one, or we get diagnosed with a disease, or we whatever bad thing, or even good things happen from a macro level, all things happen for good. But we see it at this micro level. It's like you telling your little boy to go clean his room. You know, he thinks that's a bad thing, right?
We're
And
working on it.
if you tell your boy go clean your room, well, you're telling him to do that because you're teaching him discipline and all the skills that you need as an adult. But for a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old, that's the worst thing ever, because you're playing a video game right now. So the difference between you and your boy is so many years. The difference between us and our creator is infinite. So we don't have an understanding as to why things happen. So when these things happen, I've been taught that the word kairos, it's a kairos moment. Kairos is a Greek word that means, the right or critical or opportune moment. It's a Greek word. So what happens is you go along life at this kind of steady progression, if you use an XY chart, and you kind of grow and develop, but sometimes you hit stagnant little flat areas where you're not growing or you're not developing, and these good or bad things happen. These kairos moments happen, and it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to them, that whether or not you grow or you decline in life. And so these kairos moments, these game changers, are moments where you have this transformation for good, hopefully, or transformation for bad. There you go. Look at that. You pulled it up that fast. Wow, that's
Pulling up Google definitions
yeah, there you go. That's
on
quick.
live TV.
There you go. So one simple little kairos moment for me was how to set goals. Goal setting has always been important to me. I write down goals here. I have them up on my screen, my screensaver on my computer, my wallpaper, and they're always in front of me at any given time. And so I'm a big goal setter fan, and I will say that not everybody is a goal setter. Not everybody believes in some, including some really smarter people than me and experts that say setting goals is kind of fruitless. Um, and I get that, because I think goal setting can be very disheartening if you don't have the right mindset going into it, right? Um, we kind of talked about it when we were before we came on to the video. It's not a transformation that happens like this, right? um,
Correct.
and it's not something that you can flip a switch and lose 40 pounds or bench 200 pounds or have a perfect marriage or have a perfect job. It takes a lot of time. And um, and uh, I'd like you to share a little bit. I think I was uh, talking to you, and you kind of walked away from playing your musical instrument, your bass guitar, for quite a while. And so you sat down one day and you're like, hey, maybe, and you were just doing it kind of casually, right? How did
Yeah.
how did it go from a casual pickup chicks guitar player to playing professionally in a nationally recognized bands? How'd that come
Well,
about?
for the record, it was never about picking up the chicks.
Oh no,
Hate to burst
that's probably
everybody's
why I
bubble.
wasn't. That's why I wasn't
However,
in college.
so I started playing because I was just enamored with what music can do in a large environment to people collectively, physically, you know, especially bass. As a bass player, the first show I went to was a Tom Petty concert, and I was just floored by the physical and auditory effect of the bass guitar in a room that big. It
Yeah,
just like, it thumped my chest. I could see it making everybody move. And I was like, that's what I want to do. So
yeah, that's
that
awesome.
was
But
30
obviously,
years
sitting on your
ago. But
couch and learning chords, going from that to opening up for ZZ Top and
yeah, it
Collective
doesn't
Soul.
happen overnight. It's like, what I've learned in life is it's not, there's not quick fixes. It's the things that lead to success are typically lifestyle choices,
Yeah,
small little bits, um, you know, simple disciplines repeated over time that compound, to great effect, long term.
right.
So, but to your question about, putting it away for a while, in college, we had some, relative success where we had gone from just doing it for fun to, where we were gigging out regularly, traveling to other cities for shows and that kind of stuff. And then when everybody was nearing or, post graduation, our lives were taking us into to different places. And
That's right.
so that project kind of disbanded. I moved home, excuse me, and really just focused on work and family and wasn't integrated into that musical scene. But then eventually, continuing to be passionate about music and playing just kind of casually by myself, that fire was kind of rekindled, especially having, encouragement from my partner in crime, Mr. Amber,
Yeah.
Mrs. Amber Crawford, Mr. Um, she was very supportive early on, in just kind of, helping me stay on track and believing in me and encouraging that it's something,
Yeah.
if I was passionate about, that I could succeed if in whatever definition of success that meant, if I set my mind to it and, kept at it. So
Yeah. There's two things that I hear in there is, um, and I hate the word baby steps, but that's basically what it is. It's I usually reference some books on these conversations. There's a great book called Atomic Habits, and it's talking about, the atom is the smallest element in our universe, and yet that's how small you have to start with your habits. You have to start with these little small little changes that lead, and the words that they use in that book is called habit stacking. So you don't try to go to the gym 5 days a week, 6 days a week. The first day you decide to go to the gym, you don't decide to go down to a 1,500 calorie diet the first week you decide to diet. That's why diets don't work.
right.
And so that, and the other piece I hear there is accountability. You had someone that knows you and trusts you and loves you, and
Yeah.
you be transparent with, and that piece is that authenticity is absolutely needed to be held accountable to make those real changes. And you went from sitting on your couch playing chords,
Yeah.
open
Yeah. I
up
think,
on
I think the
stage.
accountability part is super important, having a partner to keep you on track and, you know, check your progress and, give you a reality check.
Sure,
It's also the belief part, the encouragement part, as well as the challenging part, right? If you, you surround yourself with people that are not exactly goal minded or future minded, you tend to kind of just sit around and be complacent. But if you have somebody that, wow, this person really has their stuff together, and, I got to get mine together if I hope to stick around,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
encouraging and inspiring as well. So,
yeah. You got I what is it? Transformational conflict. Sometimes people got to call you out on your BS. you know, and it's important to have that. So about 5 years ago, I came across the F word, and now it's part of our fabric of our organization. We have it up on our walls in our office. But the F word isn't that F word, but it's six F words, and they are faith, family, finance, future, freedom, and fitness. And I think we'll do some follow-up podcasts on this conversation, and we'll take a couple of them at a time, and we can go a little deeper dive on each one of them. But what I found is my life can be compartmentalized in these six F's. I can sit and put every single piece of my life in these six F words. And so 5 years ago, maybe it wasn't that long ago, in a November timeframe, I went out to Hocking Hills by myself and locked myself in a little one-bedroom cabin, like Ted Kaczynski. No, and and started making bombs. No, I started dropping the F bombs. So I took
There
these.
they are.
Yeah, there they are: faith, family, fitness, finance, freedom, and future. So what I did is I took a little post-it, one of those larger post-it notes, and I taped it to the wall of this cabin. And I had a couple of cigars and a bottle of bourbon, and I sat there for 2 or 3 days, including some hikes in the woods to clear my head. And I mapped out my life in that cabin in these six words. And I still have those papers. They're in my office. I just looked at them earlier this week. That's why it reminded me to have this presentation. And I kept them, and I looked at them, and I went, "Holy crap! I only hit about a third or a fifth of these things." But that's progress, baby, and that's the
Yes.
biggest thing that I'll take away from goal setting.
Chip
You've
away.
got to learn to forgive yourself. You got to have resiliency with rejection. You're going to fail. The difference between writing your goals down and not writing your goals down is when you write them down, you fail faster. Does that make sense?
And you learn faster.
And you learn faster. That's what the whole agile development in IT is. It's 2 weeks iterative sprints instead of 3 month project lines, because all projects fail. But if you do it agile wise, they fail in 2 weeks and you can fix it.
Yep.
So I
We
sat
talked
down.
about baseball too, and you know, professionals. The best, the elite in the world. If you fail 70% of the time, you could be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes. I like those odds, man. So it's just taking those little wins and then forgetting the failures and just keep stacking those wins. So I sat down, and now we do this as an exercise in the company, and I'm going to start it again in November this year. And it's kind of a cheesy little process, but I really, really love it. So what we do is, and this is a great exercise, and we'll follow up on these F's after this, but we start with a blank piece of paper in front of us, and we get into a meditation state. I'm not a professional facilitator of meditation, but I've learned how to properly use breathing techniques and use calming techniques and soft music and just placing of your body and the way you sit and your hands sit it upright, and you just quiet your brain and your body, and you spend 10-15 minutes into meditating and getting that. And then I ask everybody, once we get to that quiet state, I want you to think about your life right now. I want you to think about the different aspects of your life, the different F's of your life. Where are you with your family? Where are you right now? Where are you with your finances? How are you making enough money? Are you saving enough money? Are you in debt? Where are you with your future? Your future is, do I have and this is actually, this whole thing that we're doing is talking about future. Do you have your eyes set on your 10-year and your 3-year and your 1-year plan? Where are you with your freedom? And this is a tough one, man, because we all have hurts and hangups. We all have issues and struggles. We all have habitual sins, I pretty much say. We all have trauma, some of us more worse than others. But where are you dealing with those directly? Because dealing with freedom of struggles in your life, bad family, bad parents, something bad happened to you as a kid. Where are you dealing with your own addictions or your own struggles? Future is a tough one, and you can spend a lot of time on freedom is a tough one, because you got to seek freedom. You'll never get completely free of those things, but you got to work towards freedom. Fitness, obviously, fitness. You got to take care of this vessel. You got to take care of this. My Bible says that this is a sanctuary, a chapel.
Temple.
How am I taking care of this? And then faith. Where am I in faith? And I can understand everybody that's listening to me is not a Christian, but for me, I'm so happy that I don't rely on myself as my own God. And so where are you in that? Everybody has a faith walk. It's just different for everybody. And I can always share one day I do want to share my faith on this, but at the same time, where are you just in the spiritual realm of life, and how are you developing and growing? How are you challenging your worldview? That's a big thing. You should always be a doubting Thomas, and you should always challenge your view. So through this meditation, we quiet ourselves, and then we want to open our eyes, and then for just an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, we just want to just throw up on that piece of paper. We want to just write and free write everything that's coming to our brain. And we want to try to categorize, and we want to just not remember to hit all those F's. And we just want to say, what is our current state? And for a half an hour, it's very therapeutic that you're writing this stuff out as to what you're all about. And you're writing through what your life is in those 6 F's. And that's the exercise. That's the first step. And then we take a break, because that's pretty heavy. That's pretty deep. And I usually take a week till I bug people again, because I want them to kind of ponder and marinate on those 6 F's, and just try to feel what that feeling is like in those. And then so that week is an inventory week. I'm sure people walk through the day just thinking about their current status, and it's okay to be not okay. It's my church's saying is, we're helping broken people. We are just broken people helping other broken people.
And I think it's also okay, not to interrupt, but I think it's also okay to, when you're looking at all of these things kind of at once, in a focused fashion, it's okay to feel like, oh man, I don't have this all together.
I suck.
It's just like everything else, small chunks, you're not going to fix it overnight, chip away at the, where you want to be, and you'll get there over time.
Excellent point, because it is, this exercise isn't to make you feel like a piece of crap. This exercise is to help you change. And it's okay, man. It's okay if you don't have it. There are things in each one of these F's that I could share with you that where I'm broken, and I'm not there yet, and I'm never going to be there, because I'm human and I'm flawed.
Yeah, right.
So second week of this exercise is we get back into that meditation state. We have another blank piece of paper, excuse me. I will put on some music. I will get into a meditation pose. And yes, I'm a cheese ball, but I don't care. I will work on my breathing techniques. I work on a 4 count in. And there's multiple different breathing techniques. There's, they call it 4 boxes. So you breathe in 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out for 4, hold for 4, in for 4, and you breathe through your nose. I don't care what you do. Just slow your breathing down.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all it is. And by the way, meditation, you're going to fail at that at first too. I started it around COVID time, because I had time on my hands, and you feel like a doofus when you get started. You're
Takes
like,
practice like anything else.
This sucks. I can't do this. This is not beneficial. It's not beneficial for the first dozen times you do it. First 30 times you do it. So we're meditating. We're quieting just trying to quiet yourself, whatever it takes. Get in the woods, go out by the beach, If you're near there, go out to a body of water, go into Mother Nature, just get away by yourself and just quiet yourself. And then I want you to start picturing yourself 12 months from now. So if we start this in December, we say it is December 31st, 2024. I want you to think about your life as if you hit every single one of your goals. It's December 31st, and I want you to, like, you just had the best year of your life. And I want you to just start picturing that and manifesting that and manifesting what you want in that world. And yes, I want you to categorize them into the faith and the family and the finance and the future and the freedom and the fitness. And I want you to start thinking about, okay, for instance, my wife and I, we're going into this empty nester phase, and it's a struggle, man. We got to figure out a whole different realm of relationship. I'm thinking about my relationship with my adult kids, and how I love on them, and how do I make it that they want to hang out with me and not just be their friend, but still be a parent. Work. We've had a tough year. My finances. It's been a tough year this year. Financially for the business, because we grew a lot and then we just flatlined. And how am I with my faith? I'm going through all the motions. I'm reading and I'm going to church and I'm doing this, but where am I really? How am I growing fitness? Yes, I've definitely lost a lot of weight, but I'm still hanging on to some bad habits. I'm still chugging down some bourbon on a Wednesday or Thursday night. I'm still not getting to the gym. I'm still eating that piece of cake when I shouldn't. So I'm picturing the perfect December 31st, 2024. You're sitting around your loved ones. Imagine you got old anxiety and you got a glass of champagne in your hand and you're like, thank you, God, for the best year of my life. Then you open your eyes and you write that down on a piece of paper. And you just throw up on the paper, and it's a wish list, man. And don't, it's okay. Go big.
Yep.
Go big. Like, just write it out, manifest it, and just write it out, and spend 30 minutes to an hour writing on it. Go for a walk with it, whatever you got to do with it. And what you end up with is a current state and future state of your life. And now what is it time to do? Do a gap analysis. And the reality is that I can promise you're not going to hit all these. You're not going to be toasting with the best year of your life, but it will be better than it was now. So then what I ask you to do is, so you got this verbal diarrhea of, sorry, pardon the metaphor, written document of current state, written document of future state. And now I want you to take each one of these F's and write out 3 goals of each one of those F's. So with your family, goal number 1, I want to have a tremendous relationship with my wife. Okay, that's a goal, but that's not a SMART goal. And we're going to talk about SMART in a second, as you guys know what it is probably. But I want to write 3 goals. I want to have a wonderful relationship with all 3 of my girls. I want to have a great relationship with my 2 sisters. Okay, there's my 3 2024 goals, and for family. So then I take those 3 goals and I smarten them up. And you want to quickly find Google what SMART means?
Let's do that.
So I'll mess them up here, but it's got to be very specific. It's got to be measurable. It's got to be relatable. It's got to be time bound. What's the A stand for?
It's achievable.
Achievable. There we go. It's got to be achievable. So if I want a great relationship for my wife, what's that mean? Action item 1. I'm going to go on a date with her once a week, or at least 3 times a month. Right? What's another achievable action item for a great relationship with my wife? I want to be intentional with her on a conversation on a daily basis where I'm not distracted with this thing, blah, 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 blah. 3rd, I want to do a Bible devotional with her because I care about her on a weekly basis. I want to help her grow her faith. Those are 3 actionable items for my wife. So you end up with 3 goals with faith, 3 goals with family, 3 goals for finance, 3 goals for future, 3 goals for freedom, and 3 goals for fitness. You write them out, and then as Mike mentioned earlier, you go find someone that loves you and that cares about you and that will hold you accountable and that believes in you. And you say, here you go, help me. And that's hard, you know.
Yeah.
Especially for dudes. We live in a cave. We don't want to show our scars.
Yeah.
So, anywho, we find our accountability partner, but then the final step, which I think is a lot of fun, and we did this with the people last year, and I got to see some pretty cool ones, is we take these goals and we make a vision board. It's cheesy, but it works. So this vision board is imagery of what your life is going to look like, and so you find pictures on the internet that reflect what your goals are. So, for instance, for me, I've got a picture of my family. And I've got a picture of 3 adult daughters around a dude, and they're just laughing and having a blast. I got a picture of a husband and wife holding hands walking on a beach. I got a picture of 3 colleges that my 3 girls are at, that they're having their best life. I got a picture of a guy around 2 siblings, and they're just laughing and having a great time. For my fitness, I got a picture of myself about 15 years ago. You know,
sometimes moving forward is going backward, right?
I got a picture of myself. You know, I always say, are you in your retirement? Are you going to be on a cruise ship? Or are you going to be in a nursing home? So that's fitness. So I build this vision wall. So the exercise is create the, and I'll sum it up here because I'm at the 30-minute mark, and I'm sorry, but this one's a big one for me. All right, you set up with the current state, you set up with the future state, you create your gap analysis, you write out 3 goals for all your F words, you share that with somebody that you love, and you meet with that person on a regular basis. You can even make it very corporately and schedule something on a monthly basis with that person. David Vermaak and I share our goals with each other from last year. And the third thing is you create a vision wall, and you put that vision wall in your office somewhere, or you put it as your wallpaper in your office.
Or your desktop wallpaper on your computer.
That's right. So there you go. That is Brian Markham's F word goal setting exercise. And that has been a Kairos moment for Brian.
Game changer in the life of Brian.
There you go. So I feel
and many others, right?
Yeah. So anyhow, I thank you very much for listening in, Michael, and hopefully I know I've got some time to talk with you about some of the things that you know, watching your journey since I've known you for 3 years, whether or not you've written them down or you've not written them down. I've seen you grow and develop in all those different apps, and it's been a pleasure to sit alongside of you in those past 3 years to do that.
Yeah, likewise.
So
yeah, thanks for sharing.
Yep.
Good chat. Yeah. It's interesting, you know, speaking of writing it down, I haven't done a lot of that of late, but, you know, I did, you know, the whole vision board goal setting kind of thing years ago.
Yeah.
And this is even like pre-Amber, pre-family, pre-success in marketing, pre-success in music. And a lot of the things on my board at that point didn't exist or were just like, you know, almost laughable, you know, future things. And you're like, yeah, I can't possibly do this, but I'm doing this activity to kind of go through the motions and, you know, please the instructor or the team lead. And and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, you look back and I got them all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
if you look at it macroly, it will happen. If you look at it microly, you will quit.
Yeah.
You will absolutely quit. And that's the difference, is you can't look at it on a weekly, monthly, or even yearly basis. You got to look at it decade-wise.
Yes. I got to mention another book too. You mentioned early on in the talk we were talking about daily disciplines, and what was that book you mentioned?
Atomic Habits.
Okay, so I bet that is very much like one that had a big influence on me years ago. Probably similar subject matter. It's called The Slight Edge. Did you ever read that one?
No, there's a new
Can't,
one.
can't remember the name of the author off the top of my head, but the overriding principle of that book is very similar. It's basically taking those lofty things, those huge chunks of whatever, and breaking them down. It's simple daily disciplines repeated over time compound to great results long term.
Yeah, and forgiving yourself when you fail along the way, man.
Yep.
That's because what stops me from growth sometimes is when I fail, I'm concerned that people see my hypocrisy, and I do, and I am a hypocrite. We all
Yep.
are.
Sure.
You know, it's funny, as I saw this pastor one time. He got up in front of the church and he says, "I have found a hypocrite in this church,
Him
and
is
I
me.
shaved his face this morning."
Yeah.
Because we all like I hope people don't think that I'm any different, because man, I don't want to be considered a hypocrite, because I have definitely hit the failure button a lot.
No. Some of the most successful people in the world in any line or industry are those that have failed the most.
Yeah. There you go. I used to have a fail button around here somewhere. I seem to
A
have
fail
one.
button.
Yes. You hit it and it would go wah wah wah.
Nice.
All right, let's let these people go. Thanks,
All right.
Nancy.
Yep, that's a good place to wrap. Yeah, we'll probably touch on some of these specific F words in future episodes, but it's good place to segue for today. So thank you for joining us again. This is Empowering Empathy. Join us next time, same channel, same time, and we will see you then.
Peace and
But
love,
we
everybody.
are getting out of here, and we will see you next time.